Okay, guys, so we're back. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 Spoilercast, as you can tell by the title. In case you can't tell because you didn't read that, you just clicked the video. We're going to spoil the entire movie from this point on forward, so be warned. I am here with Tom.
Hey guys, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Well, you're British enough, so... Well, you have some competition there from Mitch.
I was going to say that, but I realised I spoiled it last week. So I can't do it twice.
Oh shit, did you say it last week?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even pick up on that. That'd be something in the movie, so... Damn. Also here with Joe.
How's it going? And gotta say, that one just kind of like made the movie for me, that joke.
Yep.
Oh,
It was so good.
Yeah.
And also we got Tristan.
Hail Hydra.
Ah, goddamn.
Was that in the movie? I didn't see that.
Well,
I
I
didn't see
mean,
that
Earth
post-credits.
was on the movie, so it kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So, where does everybody exactly stand on this? I guess to start out, on a good day, I'm willing to give this like a 7.5, 8-ish, maybe.
I finally settled on how I feel about it, and I love it. I think it's just as good as the first one for completely
Same.
different
Yep.
reasons.
Yep.
See, I give it a 7, and that's being generous, I would say. There's so many things that I have a problem with this movie, but I do love it enough to forgive most of it.
Here's the thing, I have some major problems with it.
Oh,
I
think,
just
yeah.
don't care about... Like, and I agree with you for the most part, Tom, and a lot of them. I just don't feel as strongly about it. I feel like the writing...
Oh, I don't feel that strongly. A 7's still a decent score. It's
Oh, yeah,
above
I know.
average, but
It's
it's-
just what I'm saying, kind of like, for me, mine's going a bit
See, the
higher.
thing to me is
But,
like,
like,
I look at them, and I look at the movie like Captain America, the second chapter of a trilogy that's going to intend to tell the entire story, and Marvel's kind of been doing that with most of their movies that they're planning now. Like, they leave off, and the second one tends to be the big character development one now. Like you had Avengers, and sure, that was a groundbreaking, monumental movie. Age of Ultron is a better movie when you think of it as the character moments and all that, but a lot of people still say, well, the first one is better. So I kind of look at it like that, where I like Guardians 2 more, but I can clearly see its flaws and problems and completely acknowledge them,
If you
I
watch,
guess-
if you watch the two as one movie, it's
That
so
makes
sense.
much better. It works.
I wish
There's
I'd
no
watched the
first
first
act.
one just before.
When you say that though, like, this movie's better than this one, or like the first or second, third is better than the first or second, I think that has a lot to do with what you value more in a movie. And for me personally, I love characters and their emotions and how powerful it can be. So that's why I just love this movie. There's some jokes I was like, you didn't need to, but still,
There's a lot, yeah.
I was so into it though. Like, even from the beginning, I was just. I think it's better than the first one, to be honest. Like, I mean, I like it more than the first one, but I guess story-wise and like how it's composed as a movie, the first one would make sense as it's generally just better. But this one, I think, can do more and is more impactful, I think.
See, I agree with everything you just said, especially about the character moments. The only thing is, like you mentioned with the humor and the jokes, I felt that it was, and this is a really stupid complaint about the movie, I felt it was too funny at times, to the point where the characters, it almost felt like it did a disservice to the characters in a few moments. And I don't know, I think it was too jokey for its own good. I think maybe a few of those jokes could have been cut back.
It got very self-aware of what it was.
Yeah, I like
That's what Mitch
humor and stuff
had
like
told
that,
me, though.
but I don't know, I just think it went a bit too far.
Like,
It
when I
definitely
hadn't,
goes too far some places.
yeah, when I hadn't
Oh,
seen it,
the
right, and
Pac-Man
Mitch had
bit,
saw it
especially.
already, he had told me, like, yeah, like, it was good, but there's sometimes where it just went a little bit too far jokes, and I was like, I wonder how it could go too far. Then I saw the movie, and there were
You saw
moments I was like,
Pac-Man.
oh, those are great moments, and then it's like, oh, just add in that joke just for the sake of trying to be
Yeah, 'cause
too
the
funny.
thing
From a
is,
character
the-
point, the David Hasselhoff cameo was a really cool idea, but in the movie, just as Ego is starting to get really threatening, the fact that he turns into David Hasselhoff completely took me out of the scene. I was just like,
See,
oh, for fuck's sake.
I understand why you have that as the complaint. I didn't personally feel that it
For the
really-
Hasselhoff-
Yeah, it didn't take me out at all.
I was
Actually,
just starting
like,
to
I
get
enjoyed
into
the
it,
hell
like,
out of that
getting
scene. I
mad.
was like, oh, that's kind of cool, because I get what he's doing. He's breaking into his childhood, trying to weaken him for never having a father. So I was like, that's
Yeah.
kind of, I like how they handled that
See
scene.
that? See, I like the way Armin said it, because that's how I thought of it when he did the Hasselhoff thing. I
Oh,
say
it
we
got
kind
me
of go down
frustrated
the
too,
jokes. Like I say we go down the moments or the jokes that I think didn't work, because I feel like for everybody there was at least one or two jokes that just wasn't necessary. Look, in the trailer, I know it's funny when Mantis gets hit, but like when it's that Mary Poppins out and then everything's perfect and then she gets hit, I'm like, really?
See, here,
like, my three main jokes that I thought kind of ruined themselves. The first one was where Rocket was doing the little anti-grav mine. It's kind of, you didn't need to see the two groups of Ravengers go up multiple times.
Oh, okay.
Like, you kind of went a bit too far.
I really liked that scene.
I liked it, but I laughed at first. It went on too long.
But the fact, the fact that he kept sending them up and down is what made me laugh the most. I was just like, he's just having fun with them now. He's not trying to stop anyone.
I'll agree with Mitch because that scene to me, I started thinking of what if that scene happens in Infinity War? It's totally not going to fit the tone that Captain America and the Avengers have set. And like that scene did go a little bit too far for me, honestly. I'll agree with Mitch there.
Well, luckily it's a 4-year gap, so you kind of they're not going to be the same characters they are now. Hopefully,
so hopefully we won't get Team Groot.
No, you won't, because it's 4 years, and like, if you look at how quickly Groot's been growing, this is only a month after the first one. Like, he's already a teenager at this point, so
he'll be legal to take a drink, or at least in the United States, probably, because it's 18 over there, UK.
Yeah.
I mean, what other jokes? Because I feel like, people in the comments are probably going to
one is literally where James Gunn decides he's doing Scooby-Doo 2.
Which one's that?
And they're doing the jump scene, and the faces are warping.
Oh, yeah, I liked that the first time, but when we came back to it later, I didn't need to see more of it. Like,
it's kind of like it would have been fine if it was more subtle, but it wasn't, and it just went.
Also, like you say, Scooby-Doo, like I also felt that because of the way they handled the jumping. It was just like so frequent, it felt like a literal cartoon happening.
Yeah, and it's a shame because the jumping looked cool. Like I've never seen a jump in a space movie like this that was just instant, and like you just go from one straight into the other. It's always you have a transition and then you're there.
There's that. What does it remind me of? But there's this moment that it just felt weird where they kind of, it's a transition from when they're going onto the ship and then they're getting into Ego, and it's kind of like just a plain space background and Ego ship. It just looked weird to me. Like it looked like, I mean, not Big Bang Theory, but kind of those comedy sitcom transitions.
When he's standing under a leg.
No, it's just really Ego's ship and the space in the back, and it's kind of a transition to them on the planet. It just reminded me of a sitcom for some reason, like kind of, or like the old Batman kind of transition where it was the spinning thing.
Right.
I don't know if anybody remembers that.
You're thinking of, but
yeah, I can't think of it.
There probably was a scene that was cut from between those two moments, and that's why it's jarring.
There's only a couple of scenes. It could be one, but there was only a couple that were cut.
I mean, Jeff Goldblum wasn't in the movie anymore, practically. He was in the credits, but
I don't know. I will say,
no, Jeff Goldblum was only supposed to cameo in the credits. He wasn't supposed to be.
No, like
they released photos of him in the magazines and shit, and he wasn't like standing against a green screen. He was on set somewhere.
They didn't release that for Guardians.
Yeah, that was Thor.
Oh shit. Okay.
Well, like here's my thing.
Why was he in the credits then?
It's just like a little cameo. It's the same reason why I like Cosmo.
The biggest thing to me was like you already kind of touched upon it, but it's the theme, like the scene where they're gathering in the circle, and I get what they were saying. Oh look, we're doing the Avengers shot. We're celebrating. James Gunn is jerking off for winning this, scene, and this franchise is now bigger than freaking anything you could have imagined it would be. But then like the thing hits her, and I'm like, okay, that's funny. But I would have expected that even if I didn't see it, because it's just James Gunn being like, look, we're Space Avengers, but we're cranked up to 11. And I was like, like I didn't laugh at that scene. It just like...
When she got hit, I didn't even think it was borderline funny. Like I just thought, like, wow, you kind of ruined a great, like, emotional, powerful moment, James Gunn, and like you did everything. I was like pretty much great, but you just had to.
Up this entire movie for me. It ruins a lot of great emotional moments by being overly comedic and too much slow motion for my liking. There was so much slow mo in this, more than a Zack Snyder film.
You said that before I saw it, so I went in expecting a lot. I was fine, and I
noticed like 3 or 4 scenes.
I thought maybe I oversold it, but man, there was a lot of slow-mo in this.
So admittedly, yes, there is one like every scene, in every action scene.
Every scene, even if it's not an action scene, like I like Quill and his like father throwing
that was
like,
amazing.
Ball to each other. That was cool, but did it have to be like a full minute shot? We kind of got the idea in the first 30 seconds. You didn't need it to go on, and because it's in slow-mo, it really felt like it was going on.
They did slow-mo that scene.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like they did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Now,
and it was like this editing choices in the film where it just felt like a lot of the slow-mo shots went on just a beat too long.
Yeah.
Like they could have cut the extra beat off of it and maybe put a few of those deleted scenes back in.
Even what we're talking about now is not really like plot impactful or anything like that. It's like, it can still service a movie if the scene was speed up or anything. I want to talk about some of the plot points and some of the big decisions that might have impacted the movie a wrong way. Now, the one I want to talk about first is the fight at the end, which I like when it starts off. And then I hate when it becomes Goku fighting whoever the hell.
Yep. Oh, see, that's where even Mitch knows. That's where you caught me. Like when it started going Super Saiyan, I was like, bro, I'm so into this right now.
See, my thing with it is, I never wanted Quill to have powers. When everyone's going, oh, his dad's going to be Starhawk, his dad's going to be Star Fox. I'm like, no, that's going to give him powers. Don't do that. That completely ruins Quill as a character. And it kind of does in this, but it makes
it also does that. But my big thing was like, once again, it's the Man of Steel syndrome where, hey, look, Zod is on the planet for an hour, exposed to the atmosphere, and suddenly he's as powerful as Superman and can take him on, who's been absorbing the yellow sunlight for 20 years. I'm like, wait, so Peter Quill's had this for literally 3 days, and he's going toe-to-toe with a Celestial that was born at the birth of the universe? Like,
Plus, he's half human, so surely he should only be half as powerful.
But see, for me, like, for that scene, I even talked to Mitch about this, was... it's a reason why he kind of dislikes it, but it has that Gohan effect where he's a hybrid, so he's stronger because
he has more potential than the original. He's not a hybrid. That's the problem. He's not.
Well, he is. He's human and celestial.
But he's not. He's not really part celestial because he doesn't have those powers anymore. If he was part celestial, he would still have them. The celestial part was intrinsically tied to ego.
No, well, now he's not anymore, but he was. I'm saying. But to me, like I get the thing of, oh, how is he supposed to be as strong as Ego if he only had it for a short time? I like that it goes to an emotional standpoint of you have to feel it. You have instead of thinking about it because that's you have to feel it.
The entire fight where they start punching and flying all over the place is lazy. For the type of movie that Gunn made, it's incredibly lazy. Like he should have just had it so they're just standing there punching each other. That would have been far more impactful than having them fly and turn into fucking Pac-Man.
Yeah. It's like the difference between the lightsaber battle in Force Awakens where there's emotion behind it and then the prequel lightsaber battles where it's all big and eccentric, but it means nothing because there's no emotion behind any of it.
I mean, maybe I was probably one of the few people I felt something too because I definitely do like those type of scenes where it's grander and it's like Super Saiyan, Dragon Ball Z type stuff.
But it doesn't fit the movie. That's the problem. Those scenes are fine if they fit the movie. It works.
I mean, I guess it
works for Superman. Yeah. But like Quill's not Superman, so what? You don't need it. The last part of the fight where they're both exhausted and like on all fours, and he just disintegrates in his hands is perfect. That's how the fight should have gone.
And I mean, James Gunn knows how to flip between between tones, but the fact is, sometimes in this movie it works very well, and he can move between different tones for the film. But there are a few points where it just doesn't work, and this is.
I really feel like they told him, like, listen. People were complaining about the dance-off, even though that was a perfect fight because Peter Quill used his mind. So they're like, listen, you need to go balls to the wall, give him an action scene. I don't care how you do it, just put it in there. And it just felt kind of lazy because nowhere in the movie is it hinted at that this is what the power can give you. And suddenly they're like, charging at each other. I'm like, wait a second.
He does say they gave it the powers with the planet, like.
Well, they told me he can make stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can make stuff, but then flying about it's too much.
Y'all are right though that it doesn't fit the movie in terms of because it was more smaller scale and all that, and then this one's too big. But as a like personal thing, I enjoyed the heck out of it. I thought it was just really it got me on the edge of my seat because I was like, oh, it's like it's going down, and.
But let's look at the action scenes in the entire movie. Right, you got the first space, like the first opening credits, which you see half of, which I thought was
that was very ballsy. I thought.
Like you then
That's
got
a lot
the
of
space
money for just a little walking around group.
But I found it clever though. But you then got
oh no, I love it.
You then got the space fight with the Sovereign, and like You then got the Yondu fight with Rocket in the Ravager ship. You then got this giant balls to the wall Man of Steel fight with Pac-Man in it. Like, it doesn't fit with the rest of them.
Yeah,
I get it.
Especially
I totally understand.
Pixels, and I don't like it here.
Yeah, like especially.
I never saw Pixels.
Like
so
the best action scene in the movie. Like,
I agree with y'all. I think y'all are right in the sense it just doesn't fit. I guess it's in a personal note. I just liked it. I mean, that's just me, but.
I mean, well, let's take the Pac-Man scene. I was okay with it because for me, it seems that it fits Peter's personality that he was immature, and like if my dad was Hugo.
It only fits because they set it up with a Pac-Man reference earlier in the film. If that line was cut,
but here's the thing: like Tristan's right, it does fit with Quill's character.
Yeah, because if that happened to me, I would do the same thing. I would probably have a construction of like Godzilla or a Megazord fighting my dad.
It's one of those things where he felt it. That's why he wasn't thinking. Like Yondu said, he doesn't think about it. He just got to feel for it.
The thing is, like, yes, he does say I'm going to make a giant Pac-Man and whatever else, but he also says he can only make a ball. So it does kind of fit with that because Pac-Man is just a ball.
Yeah. He isn't that creative with it yet. I mean, to me, I told you that I was kind of mad that he doesn't have it, but I get it, But I wish he would have still had it. I thought, why not make it different, Why
not make what the fight because should have been in is a Green Lantern movie.
Yeah. Because
that's what they were doing, is making constructs to fight each other. Like, it basically was a power group fight.
I mean... Also, was Nathan Fillion in this movie? I thought people.
Yes, he wasn't supposed to actually appear as a cameo though. Okay. He's only supposed to be on those posters we saw before in the set leaks.
And then you never see posters in the film.
Yeah, I don't even see. Also,
they're there if you look, but you can't really see.
I don't know if the Earth. I mean, I guess the Earth thing, is, like being on Earth for that bit of time, it was. I guess it's necessary, but I didn't feel like you need to.
No, I liked the opening on Earth, but I didn't need to go back and see the destruction happening because they set up that there's a flower on Earth. The whole universe is in danger. You don't need to just see this random town.
To me, maybe they explained it somewhere. Maybe I'm just an idiot and missed it. But is there an actual reason, like, that nobody on any sentient planet cannot identify that plant?
No. See, I completely agree there. Like the plot is the weakest part of this movie, and it's kind of I'm kind of trying to ignore the plot because the characters are what saved it.
It could have been interesting if, like, he was purposely the reason he spent so much time on Earth, apart from just impregnating her, was maybe he was looking for somewhere that the plant wouldn't be discovered, and like he was looking for the perfect place for it. But he just sort of put it behind a diner. Like, someone taking out trash at the end of the night.
I mean, 20 minutes behind a Dairy Queen, and it's like, okay, fine. Maybe I'll believe you that Earth didn't find it, because we just kind of constructed, no one noticed her or whatever. But when you put it on the middle of Xandar Prime, and, like, you're telling me these guys don't detect it, and these guys are, like, some of the most advanced, and, like, we even see the Kree homeworld kind of being destroyed and stuff. I'm like, none of these guys detected it, though? Or, like...
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's an alien plant. Like, would aliens be really that bothered about a random plant? Like, we would be, because it looks nothing like what we have on this planet. If it's not
indigenous to the planet, so I guess,
you'd be weirded out by it.
On a planet like Xandar, where there's not one given race of anything, it's kind of like you're going to get...
they'd still have records of what grows naturally on the planet.
They probably would, but it's kind of like, I get it, it's an inconspicuous plant, but...
They probably have an easier way of cataloguing all this stuff as well. They've probably got, like, scanners, you scan it in, like the whole internet knows what this thing is now.
Can I just say, though, before the movie, I even saw a movie, I saw some commercials about the Dairy Queen, like, thing that Guardians had. I was like, I wonder, it seems like they're doing a lot with that. I wonder if it's going to be in the movie. And then, lo and behold, I was like, oh, there it is. I don't know. I just love product placement. I think it's a funny thing, like a humorous thing for me to.
It wasn't as bad as the Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
No, well, I see that.
Stuff about Dairy Queen.
Well, Joey, you'll be surprised because I actually went on eBay to see if Zooms are going up in price, and they are.
They probably are. Right?
Oh yeah.
But see, I don't see it like Tom. You say it's probably not as bad as the Krispy Kreme thing. I don't see product placement as a bad thing.
I laughed at the Krispy Kreme one because at least they were tongue in cheek about it. They knew what they were doing. But
see, I'm just saying, like, I don't think product placement is really a bad thing. I mean, it helps you money to make and all that. You just be creative with it. I would say
either be creative with it or be tongue in cheek with it to the point where it's almost a bit of meta comedy, and then I'll get behind it. But yeah, if it's blatant and it's just awful and terrible, like, It's a good movie, but when Superman gets smashed into the Marlboro cigarette truck.
See, I like the part like in Man of Steel when he gets hit into the IHOP and they fight in there.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's
Turkish Airlines are a major part of BVS. Apparently.
Yeah. So I mean, you were gonna say something, Mitch? I don't know.
No, I can't.
I mean, I think we're all agreeing we like the movie, even though it has its flaws. Like, I'm not gonna pretend they don't exist because they do, and I think this movie has a lot more flaws than, say, like Civil War, Doctor Strange, Winter Soldier. But I still really, really like the movie, and if it was a movie that standed on its own, if it didn't have a sequel or prequel to build off of, it would totally be a movie that just doesn't make sense and doesn't work because of all these problems. But luckily, it's set in a world that's so built up that we know some of these elements. It's like, okay, I get it, so it's...
Well, I mean, you say a world when it really just goes off one movie.
Yeah, so. But like the one movie has been building up the Marvel.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying like all you need is really one movie. I don't think you needed 14 movies of the MCU for this movie to work. I think one Guardians one.
If the audience aren't familiar with the world you're creating in 2 movies, then you failed. And the audience, I think, knew what Guardians was like after the first movie, and then we've had Doctor Strange showing all this like other side to things, and the trippy visuals have sort of crossed over now.
Like, like in this movie, like they can introduce you to something, and people just don't question it so well that you just get the original Guardians. It's just you know who these are.
Well, yeah, but I think that's like post-credit wise. Like, yeah, like the MCU stuff builds up to this.
At the end of the movie, with the funeral, when they just all appear, you know exactly who they are.
Yeah. You're right.
It's like, that's clearly the rest of them.
See, I forgot about that. Yeah, I thought they were a post-credit scene. I forgot that they were an actual at the very end.
Do you think we'll get a movie with that team? Because I really
think they want. The way Gunn and Feige are talking, I think they want one.
That'd be dope. I mean, Stallone leading a movie too. I mean, that works. I would say get him before he's. Like,
what do you think they call that?
Like, it's not even Stallone as well. Like he's got like the whole
Guardians 3000.
They've cast it perfect.
If you call, I think you'd have to call it Guardians of the Galaxy subtitles 3000.
Yeah. I mean,
because then the subtitle you can then go, oh well, it's about Vance Astro coming in.
Yeah. I mean, just having it 3000 just makes sense to be. Well, something I wanted to ask y'all though.
The Crystal guy was Michael Rosenbaum as well. Like Lex Luthor.
Oh, was that him?
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus was the head, that little robot head thing.
That's cool.
That was Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was the. I didn't know Michael Rosenbaum was the.
When I saw those guys, when I was looking at it and talking to a couple of people, they're like, "Do you really want a movie with those guys?" I'm like, "Yes, I do," because it would be a completely different movie because of the type of characters they are. And from the sounds of it, what Marvel and stuff are saying, they're doing the same exact thing they said after Avengers. They're like, well, we put the Thanos scene in there, but it's not necessarily all about the Avengers. You're going to see something in the future, and then Guardians gets announced. I think that's what they're doing with them. You're going to get those characters back, just a matter of time.
But, I mean, it depends on whether it's a movie, No, real quick, I agree with you. I think we're gonna get those characters back, but it just depends if it's an actual movie or maybe it's in somebody else's movie.
It's not gonna be anything other than a movie.
No, but I meant like
not gonna get someone like Stallone doing the Netflix show.
No, but that's what I mean. I meant like either in their own movie or in someone else's movie, or like it could be in Guardians Volume 3, or it could just be in their own like Guardians 3000 movie. That's what I'm saying. Like either their own or in somebody else's movie.
I guarantee they'll be in the third one. They'll be
that's. I mean, cool. They've already said, James Gunn has said, Guardians 3 is going to set the precedent for a larger cosmic universe. So you're probably looking Nova, Guardians 3000, Warlock, and a new iteration of Guardians to keep going forward. Why don't you make the Guardians 3000 now? I mean, if you were to take those characters, add Groot and Rocket, I think you have a big movie.
I don't think you need Groot and Rocket.
Well, then you get Guardians of Infinity.
Yeah, true.
But I don't think you need Groot and Rocket to be
the
honest.
Money,
the
money.
This is true. You're right. Money does talk, but
the thing is, like, the original team will be such a different tone because you're basically making it Expendables, just Sly. And it's just like you got Expendables in space. Like, so I take my money now.
A thing no one has really been mentioning is there's no really Infinity Stone.
Good.
I would say
that's because it's only a month after the first one.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
plus,
like,
James Gunn,
remember everybody was like saying, oh, I mean, even us, we're like, oh, when can the next ones appear? Guardians 2 would be more than likely.
I've always said it's going to be
Panther.
So.
No, I know, but I remember when everybody was talking about it, and not in the sense of like, oh, haha, it wasn't in there, but I'm just saying, like, well, like, there wasn't one in there. That's crazy. Now we're gonna have one in Black Panther, because this one would seem like the more obvious one that it would have been in there, but it wasn't.
It's been in the news and stuff, and it's been confirmed a bunch of times, like months ago, that there wasn't going to be one in this film. So I just didn't go in there for expecting.
No, I've seen people saying like, "Where's Thanos?" And it's like we've known since the start. He's not going to.
There's no Thanos, no Infinity Stones. Like James Gunn was very clear on Twitter and stuff, especially.
I totally understand that was all like months ago, but I'm just like, I think because sometimes James Gunn could say, "Oh, this is not that," and maybe it'll be in there. You know what I mean? And like kind of to surprise you. But it's because I feel like he's one of those guys that like, bro, don't ruin it for yourself. So I'm gonna have
he's pretty much a straight shooter. Like he doesn't tend to lie.
Yeah. I know, but you never
usually
know.
He bends the truth rather than outright deny something existing. Yeah. Like he did, technically, Jason wasn't Krill's father, but you know. He basically made him the same thing.
Technically, Jason was.
Yeah, he doesn't usually flat out deny something, but he will bend the truth when needed.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There could have been, whether it be post credit or whatever. But I thought that was just interesting that overall, like when after the movies that it wasn't there. But one question really I wanted to ask y'all: what was y'all's favorite emotional scene in there? Because there was a lot, like whether it be Yondu's funeral, whether it be the father and son moment when Quill's using the energy bomb.
I like all of them because everybody had a personal scene, but my favorite was probably Nebula and Gamora. Because I didn't really like Nebula in the first movie. She was completely underdeveloped and only got like a little bit. So this movie, knowing why she hates Thanos so much, why she hates Gamora so much, and then knowing that she's going to be in Infinity War and play a big part in it as part of the Guardians, I'm like, you know what? Now I see her personal, story moving forward. And I could see her being like a character that's like, listen, sure, he attacked Earth once. Let me tell you what he did to me, and all the Guardians, everybody's gonna be like, oh shit, okay, we get it. Okay, this guy's bad.
I mean,
like that way real quick. That one scene though, when I think that was James Gunn's brother who asked like, "So what are you gonna do with the money?" And then she gives this whole monologue of what Thanos did. I thought it was funny, but also at the same time, like that's when you understand her. You're like, wow, that's what she's been through.
And also that one scene fleshes out Thanos more. Without
such a
like how he got his name. Like he truly is mad.
Yeah. What were you say, Tom? Like,
my favorite emotional scene was definitely between Drax and Mantis when they're staring out over the sunset, and she like starts to get his feelings, and she starts to break down and cries, and he's just sort of staring. That to me was beautiful. I love that
scene. Sums up the entire movie for me.
I love that scene.
It's literally you have Drax looking like one thing on the outside, but on the inside he's feeling this, and that is literally everyone's character arc.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'll admit, little tear rolled down my.
I cried.
That really connected.
See, I call them thug tears, and I had thug tears throughout the whole movie. Man, I was in my feels. I was like, "What is happening?" But what about you, Tristan? What was your favorite emotional scene in the movie? Like, there's a bunch to go through.
Mine was Rocket.
Ooh,
Yeah, when he was getting like just blasted, saying how he really feels and why he is an asshole. He pushes everyone away before they push him away.
Yeah, see that is a good one. They what was it? Richard. I think everybody knows here. Like he was the one saying that to him. They're the ones who kind of make the movie, like Yondu and Rocky. And they're like back and forth of how they're similar. And I was like, that makes sense. But I mean, for me, it's that whole father-son thing, I gotta say, that was in this movie. Oh. And when he said in the beginning, he's like, I never even got to throw a ball with my dad. And then you see later when he does that, I was like, bruh, you got me. Like, what? And then kind of like the same thing, but when he realizes that, Yondu was not his father, but his dad, the one who raised him, like, oh, bro, you got me right there.
He might have been your father, but he weren't your daddy, boy.
Yeah, dude, he got me right there. Like, James Gunn just, hooked me in and was like, I'm just gonna, destroy you. Like, man, it's too good. Too good.
That scene where Yondu freezes.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
I didn't think it was gonna happen, to be honest, but then
I thought he
realized
was
after
for Infinity War.
Yeah.
He was, but that's a sly. We're gonna
That's so smart though. Like he was on set and shit. Like
he wasn't on set. All they did was give him an Infinity War beanie, and everyone just.
Smart.
so
So there
clever.
you go. He's
Yeah, because
he was
on the where he had the beanie, but he was around the town where they were shooting. So it was like, oh shit! It's smart because he probably just went to visit James Gunn, but it's like they played that off because they knew everybody would pick up on it. So, and I think the thing that works about his death personally to me was, it's like you saw the character in part 1, and you see he's this like portrayed as a dirtbag, but you see he has a heart, and it really
especially
right, and it really hits home in this one. And when he gets his one moment where you completely understand him, then they rip him away from you as a viewer, and at that moment you also become Star-Lord because he realizes that he was the better part of him, the relationship they had, and you're just like, fuck. And they built that up so well that it's almost unlike any other Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. That moment I think was sadder than anything else because it was like, well, shit, like I didn't see it coming, so it worked.
I mean, this whole movie I would say is more get you in your feels sad and emotionally powerful than almost all the other Marvel movies. Like, at least for the longer stretch, I would say, like, throughout this whole movie, there's way more amounts or times that you felt kind of sad for these characters or whatever was happening than I would say all the other Marvel movies. I mean, that's just how I see it. Like, it's for a longer stretch, at least. Maybe one, like Civil War or whatever, had one moment was more powerful, but I would say this one just had longer stretches. Like,
you know what the weirdest thing is as well? Like, Michael Rooker has been in every single one of James Gunn's movies, and he won't be in the next one. That is so strange that James Gunn actually chose to take him out.
When you can make your friend, you got day ones. You gotta bring your day ones with you. I gotta say, it helps that he acts pretty good in the characters he does. But you gotta bring your friends on the come up. Like, if you're from somewhere, maybe you didn't have all this stuff and he was there with you, you got to bring him with you. Whoever gets up there first, bring the other, is what I say.
Now, can you believe that he didn't get the role?
Yeah.
Like, Gunn had to
He would have been
Marvel
given another
Studios.
role, though, I'm sure.
I'm sure he would have given another role
Gunn
too.
had to fight Marvel for him to have that role.
Oh, I mean, that's day one for it. That's what a good friend does.
And it's kind of like, look how well he earned that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm pretty right. You're like, everyone is going to literally like tear the fuck up with this.
James Gunn went out of limb.
People loved him in Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
He was at the top of his game when Guardians 1 came out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he's now got his top of his game.
Isn't he in that one movie currently that I think came out this year? Where they're all in this business building and it's locked down, and forgetting the name of it, but somebody has like chips in their brains, and if they don't kill someone, everybody's gonna die.
Velcro Experiment.
Saw the trailer for that. Yeah, isn't he in that movie?
That's a James Gunn movie.
Oh, well, there you go.
They fucking didn't release that shit where I live, so I couldn't see it. Sons of bitches. Yeah, well.
It's a good movie overall.
So I think we're gonna end the Spoilercast there. Then obviously we talked about it for about half an hour, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back since it's an MCU movie. We'll riff it when it's on time because that's what we do. Because we enjoy those. They're not torturous.
Through that.
Yep.
Did you guys ever redo Suicide Squad after the first one got lost?
No.
We're just not going to bother.
You don't need to. I don't even want to be honest.
I think people even know our opinions on that movie pretty much.